to Fantasy Football Week 16, the ranking show. I guess second to the last ranking show of the year. Seems like it's gone pretty quickly, in my opinion. But Trevor Landon in the middle, Luke Reimer on the right. I'm Zach Bruner. Hopefully you're still alive, and that's why you're watching us. Hopefully we can help you win your championship. We will be going over my rankings on flurrysports.org, comparing them to the rest of the industry consensus, seeing where we are higher, where we are lower. All rankings will be in half PPR scoring, so keep that in mind. But that does not matter for quarterbacks, so let's just jump into that first. I have Justin Herbert number 1 this week at the Texans. Then I go Jalen Hurts number 2 versus the Giants, Patrick Mahomes 3 versus the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers 4 on Christmas versus the Browns, and then Matthew Stafford 5 at the Vikings. Trevor, what do you think of those 5 quarterbacks?
I really hope Justin Herbert sucks because I play Luke in our Dynasty League and I need Luke to lose, especially after last week. But beside the point, he should play pretty well. The only question with that, as is with any team against Houston, is are they going to get up by so much where they just run the ball? With the way Staley coaches, I don't see that being a problem.
I'll piggyback on that, Trevor. I just finished my Survivor pool pick. BO probably later, but spoiler, I took the Chargers. I didn't realize I hadn't taken them yet, but I have them in this game, and I think this is a game for Justin Herbert just to absolutely destroy the Texans. Justin Herbert's a good quarterback. He's shown what he did last year, this year. I think this all culminates into this game, and I know Austin Eckler just went on the COVID list. So not having him, I think this is a game where, the pass sets up the run rather than the run setting up the pass. Take a couple shots deep, hit Keenan Allen over the middle a couple times first quarter, get the offense going, and then get the backup running backs going a little bit, and this offense will find a way. And it's not obviously, honestly, it's not going to be too hard against the Texans. I just see a lot of it coming right away.
This is also a team that I believe they're 7th in the AFC right now, so that would mean they have that last playoff spot. They need to get something going because it seems like they are tripping and falling into the playoffs right now.
Right. I was going to say they're coming off an emotional loss to a division game and tough fought game last week.
Yeah, it seems like a perfect situation to get a Mike Williams involved. Hopefully develop some sort of rhythm with him going forward, even though I don't think he knows what even rhythm is. The dude is so inconsistent. He's worse than DK Metcalf at that, which is pretty bad. But yeah, I think Justin Herbert, just looking across the board at the matchups, I have Jalen Hurts too. I can already tell you I'm high on him. 6 spots higher than the consensus on Jalen Hurts. Consensus has him at 8. I thought he looked good last week. And I just think, if you can have a quarterback is going to play 4 quarters and runs the football, that's what I'm banking on right now. I think Herbert will do that a little bit. We know Jalen Hurts is going to do that. Patrick Mahomes will get flushed out of the pocket from the Steelers, and the Steelers certainly can't stop the run, so I think he's going to do that. Aaron Rodgers is doing Aaron Rodgers things right now. And then, Matthew Stafford versus the Vikings. The Vikings secondary was bad, and then they cut one of their starters. So, they are an embarrassing team there. But then, after that, what's your guys' thoughts on Josh Allen this week? I think I'm probably lower on him. I am 3 or 4 spots lower on him, so the consensus has him at 3. I guess I don't really trust him against the Patriots. What's your thoughts?
I don't either, but kind of like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen is this offense. The passing and the running goes through him. And in a divisional game like this, Buffalo's still, they're in wild card, still vying for, just to solidify their playoff spot. This is a must-need win for Buffalo in my mind. I think they have to give the ball to the best player no matter what the defense is set up in or anything like that. But the only thing that worries me is New England slows the game down and this ends up being a 13-3, 13-10 kind of game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and me losing in fantasy. And guess who my quarterback is? Josh Allen, and he's playing New England.
There you go.
It's just a tough matchup for him. The weather conditions are obviously going to be a lot better, but not much is going to change, right? This is still New England. They still have a very good defense. I would not be surprised if Josh Allen throws 2 interceptions in this game. And when you do that, it's kind of hard to be top 4 or top 3, wherever he was, because that's such a high mark to hit.
This is also, I mean, it's for sure going to be a close game. I don't think no matter what happens, it's not going to be a blowout either way. So there's going to be some crucial downs, crucial third downs. He doesn't have Cole Beasley, so I think that's a big deal. I think J.C. Jackson's good enough to take away Stephon Diggs. So Emmanuel Sanders didn't play last week. If Emmanuel Sanders is out, you're saying, is Gabriel Davis good enough for Josh Allen to be great? Because the Patriots also give up by far the least amount of yards to tight ends. I think they've given up like 350 the entire year. And part of that is, a product of who they have played, but also they're a very good defense and they're good at taking away those types of players. So, man, I don't know. Like, the Bills may come out and try to establish the run because that's what the Patriots are giving them. And if that's the case, it's going to be a long day for everybody, including Josh Allen fantasy managers, I think. Other players, Jimmy Garoppolo, I really like him. Thursday, Trevor, I know you like him too. You included him in your streamer article. Jeff Wilson also out, but it's just so much easier to pass against the Titans than to run against them. And I assume that's what Jimmy Garoppolo is going to do and the 49ers. Do you agree with that?
I agree 100%. And I think for people that lost and are spiteful like me, throw Jimmy G in there, to make yourself feel good and bench your players that let you down. It's the small victories that count.
Yeah. To piggyback on that, I started Garrett Gilbert last night and got a win by 3 points in the loser bracket. So I know how that feels, Trevor. Sorry, I agree that Jimmy Garoppolo is a pick here because George Kittle has now reestablished himself as one of the best players in the NFL. And the way he gets the ball is those, short out routes, quick routes, find him over the middle a couple times. I mean, that's right in Garoppolo's wheelhouse where you make the receiver do the work and you just put the ball on him. With George Kittle back, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel still going to be involved in these gadget, screens, stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with you guys. I like him a lot.
Another player I like, and people are overlooking him because people are just assuming the starter's coming back. I think Tyler Huntley is going to start this week. Everything I've heard from the people I've talked to in Baltimore is that Lamar Jackson was not close to playing last week, and he didn't practice today. It's kind of, I don't think he's going to play. And if he doesn't play, I mean, we know Tyler Huntley is going to be fine, right? I just talked about running quarterbacks and stuff like that. I just rewatched the Packers game. I think people are giving Huntley too much credit. However, he's certainly not bad, and he's certainly better at passing the football and reading defenses than Lamar Jackson. I think this helps all of the Baltimore receivers, and I think he's a top 10 guy. I have him 10 right now, but man, it's certainly appealing to put him, or enticing to put him above Tom Brady, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, given their tough matchups and stuff like that. So he's a guy that's out there available. Definitely look at him.
Yeah, and just to throw some shade, going into this week, I told a lot of my friends, this game is not a given for the Packers, and we'll cover that later. I said Tyler Huntley's a solid quarterback. He's not, Lamar Jackson, but he's solid. And everybody said, well, if he's so solid, why is he a backup? I think we can get rid of that notion this week. There's a reason Devontae wasn't taken in the first round. Donald Driver was taken in the 7th out of Elkhorn State or whatever. Where they're drafted and how they get to the league is not indicative on talent. So definitely take Huntley if he plays.
Yeah, I mean, he can run, obviously. If he learns to run to the left, he'll be even better. And he's making the right reads. He's just reading the defense and taking what they're giving him, which is all you can ask for. And it's certainly all the Ravens are asking Lamar Jackson to do, and Jackson's not doing that. So I like him. The only other 2 quarterbacks I want to touch on quickly, Cam Newton. He plays the Buccaneers. I really don't like him. I know you can pass against the Buccaneers, but you can't run, and most of his points come from his running. And I assume he turns the ball over a few times. Also, Sam Darnold's designated to come back. And we've seen Cam Newton get benched in pretty much every game he's played in. And it sounded like Matt Rule wants to work Sam Darnold in a little bit, so it seems like they're going to run a 2-quarterback system, which is stupid. So 1, don't start Cam Newton. I hate him. And 2, I really hope they take Cam Newton out on the goal line so Sam Darnold can run his read option there, because I think that's what the NFL needs this year. I want Cam Newton taken out on the goal line for their Sam Darnold package. Let Vanilla Vic work a little bit. Other quarterback, Jared Goff. I know Luke will like this. He's throwing the ball a lot more, and the Lions are very clearly good at running the football because their offensive line's really good. So the play action's there, the passes are there, the receivers are fine, and he plays Atlanta this week. I think you could do a lot worse than him. I have him 21, which is behind Ryan Tannehill. However, if you were making the decision between the two, I think I would probably start Goff over him. Goff over Tua is appealing. Like, I think he has value. I can't imagine you're in a position in the fantasy playoffs and you are that desperate, but I think there's a shot there.
Yeah, I love it a lot more for DFS.
Yeah, for sure.
But I totally agree. Believe it or not, this Lions offense is kind of clicking a little bit. Like you said, they're running the ball well. Goff's throwing the ball well. It only took them, 15 weeks to finally figure it out. But
Yeah.
you know what they say in gambling: if something's hot, you ride it. And Jared Goff, I don't think he's going to get you, single-digit points this week. I don't think he's going to get you 30 points this week. If you want to save 12 to 17 to 22 in there, I think Jared Goff's your guy.
See, I got to put you in your place. The Lions didn't finally decide it. This was decided well before the season, right? They wanted a good pick, but they knew how good they were going to be, so they needed a good player. So they decided to throw away the first 12 just at, the Chobity, who there was, still get a good player. But to your point, like, he's good, or he has been good. He made the Cardinals look like Swiss cheese, which I don't think the Cardinals have the best secondary. But that's still not nothing, especially seeing he's got Amon-Ra St. Brown as his wide receiver 1. So 100% he's one of those guys, kind of like Jimmy G too. Jimmy G is not going to give you 25, but he's not going to give you 9.
And he also plays the Falcons. Like, that shouldn't be skipped over. It's not like he's playing a tough team.
Right.
And Jamal Williams is coming back this week. So all those situations where they would hand it off to the mayor of Kutztown, Craig Reynolds, over and over and over. Now maybe I hope they do a full house backfield. That's what I really want to see out of Dan Campbell. But if not, Jamal Williams is going to catch the ball a little bit more than Craig Reynolds, which obviously is free, easy points for Jared Goff, and it should be fine.
Henry is right, though. I think he just got COVID.
Oh, I didn't even see there's stuff. Oh, God.
Good job,
Okay, let's
Jared.
talk about some of this stuff. Mr. Grapefruit PPR playoffs need 1 off waivers. Antonio Brown, go get him.
Yep.
I'm not even going to read the rest.
Especially since you have Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, he has been horrible. And speaking of Jamar Chase, he's on my team, so I don't trust him this week. Bench him.
Yeah. For Antonio Brown, with Chris Godwin getting what feels like 12 million catches in the last 2 games, and him being out for the year, there's one person that fills that spot well, and that's Antonio Brown.
True. So Jared Goff has COVID, huh? Interesting. I think, I don't know. I think he's just so dumb he can't pass any test is probably the more likely situation there. In terms of quarterbacks, I like less. I talked about Josh Allen. I'm 4 lower. I'm 4 lower on Kyler Murray, who I have at 8. And then I'm 5 lower on Derek Carr, who I have at 24. He plays Denver. Denver is good. Derek Carr is not. Any other quarterback you guys want to talk about?
I think I like Trevor Lawrence this week. I know it's tough to say, but with how, they finally get a week off from Urban Meyer, they have a nice matchup against the Jets, I believe, this week. 1 and 2 matchup picks. I mean, it's all aligning for Trevor Lawrence to have his breakout game.
I said that last week. So he's not good. That's my whole thing. Should he be better than what he is? Yes, but is he good? No, not at all. But yeah, I'm at 27. Could he finish top 20? Yeah. I think he could. Especially talking about who he's going to finish above. Like the Ryan Tannehill, Jared Goff, Cam Newton, Carson Wentz. Yeah, for sure. Okay, running backs. Here we go. So again, we're talking about half PPR scoring. Number 1 is going to be Jonathan Taylor at the Cardinals. Dalvin Cook 2 versus the Rams. Austin Eckler 3 currently. I know he has COVID as well. At the Texans. Nick Chubb 4 at the Packers. Alvin Kamara 5 versus the Dolphins. I guess this is important to note that there's clearly going to be a lot of changes to rankings throughout the entire week, as everybody's are going to be changing as well. So again, flurrysports.org, go back and check before Saturday, before Sunday, because they will probably look very different. But Luke, what do you think about those 5 running backs?
This is probably pretty obvious, but I don't think you can put anyone ahead of Jonathan Taylor anymore. I mean, all the Colts do is just give him dives right up the middle and make him make the move, and the offensive line gets like 8 yards of push by the time he can make a move. But Nick Chubb I like a lot against Packers, who, they've been all right against the run. They haven't played that many great running backs and that many great running teams. Like, all the Browns can do right now is run. Like, their team sucks, their offense sucks, but Nick Chubb doesn't. And Packers, are susceptible to giving up long runs, especially if linebackers are out of place, which they were a little bit last game. So yeah, I like Nick Chubb. And, even look at last night, 2 days ago when the Browns played, that offense wasn't getting going and Nick Chubb still scored a touchdown. So you got to imagine that Nick Chubb is going to score a touchdown, and the rest of the yards, that's just added on points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's playing a Cardinals team that I think is tied for 5th in most yards per carry, even though they've only given up 4 carries over 20 plus yards, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but tells me they don't give up a big play, but they give up a lot of chunks. And guess what? Jonathan Taylor is going to get those big plays. He might double that number. That offensive line is good. The Cardinals, I think they're starting to panic. I think this is the start of that Cardinals downfall we see every single year. And I think it gets worse because, Kyler's going to get those quick 3 and outs. Once the Colts gash you for those big, long drives down 14, this game might be over by halftime, possibly.
To your point, this is the worst matchup for the Cardinals. I think just because of game style. Like, Kingsbury and Kyler Murray have no game sense whatsoever. To your point, the Colts will go on that super long, methodical drive and wear out the Cardinals defense. Kyler Murray will throw it into the dirt once, throw it out of bounds once, and then throw a pick. Or, fumble it or do whatever. He has so many fumbles this year, by the way. People aren't talking about that either. But yeah, he will do a quick 3 and out. Colts will go back on the field with a gassed Cardinals defense and do the same thing again. Like, it should be a boring game, but I mean, just a dominating game from Jonathan Taylor. The running backs. I think Montgomery could do a similar thing to the Seahawks this week. I have him at 8. I have Ronald Jones at 10. I kind of want to move him down. I just don't want to move anybody else above him. He plays the Panthers. I believe he's going to be the lead guy. I think he's going to get as many touches as he can handle before he fumbles the football, essentially, or misses an easy pass protection. But like Ezekiel Elliott, I have at 11. I just don't trust his health. Antonio Gibson is 12. I don't trust him. And then Cordell Patterson, 13, who I think I'm lower on than most people. I just feel like, I don't know. I just don't love Cordell Patterson. I feel like they're going to try to get cute and get Mike Davis involved or Quadri Allison or somebody stupid like that. But what's your guys' thoughts on Ronald Jones?
He's got to take over that Fournette role. Like, Jones was there before Fournette. He has a little bit of a relationship with Arians. Like you said, Zach, though, he fumbles, it's a whole different story. Fumbles once, who knows? He got pulled for that earlier in the year. But I agree with you. They're going to give him everything he can handle. He's going to get all the goal line work. He's going to get all the first, second, maybe even some third down work too. I mean, I think the volume there alone screams top 15 at least.
And he might get more passing game work than usual because Brady can't do anything unless he's got elite pass catchers. Jones isn't that, but I think you could argue he gives more upside than some of those receivers have to this point.
Yeah, the receivers are rough. I'm really nervous that they struggle running the football, which it seems very likely that they could. and then he misses that pass protection. Because, like, if Le'Veon Bell turns out to be, like, the leading snap share running back simply because he can pass protect, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, I think that's probably... Doesn't that just seem like that's what's going to happen? I just feel like Ronald Jones is going to mess up any opportunity he's given.
Yeah, and the thing is, Buccaneers are still going for seeding too, so they're trying to get all the wins they can yet.
Yeah, they're not rolling over.
Yeah, he's going to drop a pass on the first drive. That's like not a great pass, but you should still catch it. They'll bench him till the third. He'll have a couple good runs, and then he'll never see the field again.
'Tis the Bruce Arians way. Let's talk about Joe Mixon. He has a sprained ankle, but was like a full participant in practice today. He looked good. People really hate him this week. And I get it. Maybe he wronged you. He certainly wronged others in his past, and that kind of hurt his draft stock. But the expert consensus has him at 25. I have him at 19, which is 6 higher. And I can't put him outside my top 20. Like, he's too good of a football player. He plays a Ravens team, which is fine. But I don't know. Like, am I too high on him? Or do you think people are panicking because of that ankle injury too much, or how he's been lately? What's your thoughts, Luke?
Well, this is an AFC North game, so we know it's going to be, a grinded out, fighting in the cold. It's going to get a little chippy. And so how do you deal with that? You have to run the ball. You have to take care of the ball. Baltimore, they're fiending for a win right now. Especially, I mean, they're out of the playoff picture right now. So this division's up for grabs. This is a huge division game. You have to give the ball to your best players, especially if that Baltimore pass rush is coming for Joe Burrow. Joe Mixon should be able to see so much all day. And like you said, Zach, that defensive front that's usually great at protecting the run, they don't scare me that much. Packers were able to run the ball well against them,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see why the Bengals should differ from that. But who knows, because Zach Taylor's still in charge there.
Yeah.
I'm getting really angry because I see whoever had my dynasty team before me traded him to you, Zach. But beside the point,
Yeah.
that makes me sad. His usage has been pretty high in like the last 3 weeks. He hasn't had much success, 7, 8 points, but he's getting 17 plus carries per game. He's getting a look per game. Like, that's a pretty, 25, RB25 is a pretty low floor to hit. So even if you're assuming he averages like 3.2 yards per carry, which I would assume would be unlikely, he's still going to hit that range. And, before the last 3 weeks, he only scored single digits once. So, I have no reason to think he can't hit at least RB25.
Yeah, and his past 2 weeks were against the 49ers and Broncos, which are clearly good defenses as well. My big gripe is he needs to be involved in the passing game more. It makes zero sense that he's not. He has 4. Okay. Well, he has a few games above 4 receptions, but not very many. More single reception games or 0 receptions than anything else. But he's a playmaker. He was compared to Le'Veon Bell for a reason. And people are ranking him as if he's Le'Veon Bell right now. And that doesn't really make sense to me. Jeff Wilson, like I said, is going to start tomorrow night. I have him at 22. I might move him above Melvin Gordon, but I'm not going to put him super high. Obviously, Deebo Samuel is lining up in the backfield a ton, being a budget version of Cordell Patterson. I get it. I want to be Cordell Patterson too, but Jeff Wilson's not, or Deebo Samuel's not that. Other running back, Miles Sanders is getting workload now. I don't trust it, but I'm going to try to trust it, especially since Trevor traded him to me. I'm going to do my best to trust it. But like, if he gets 2 carries this week and it's a Boston Scott week, would that surprise me? No.
Enjoy your heaping pile of trash, Zach. That's the only thing I can take from this season.
Man, that's probably going to happen. Damian Harris came back to practice for the Patriots today, practiced in a limited fashion. Ramondre Stevenson didn't practice at all, but it was to illness, so I assume he's fine. But, I mean, Damian Harris is going to get the goal line work, like I say every week. He didn't play last week, obviously, hamstring injury. but I have him at 24 and Ramondre Stevenson at 28, and then Bolden at 45. I think they will all be involved again. Yeah, I guess. Do you have anything else to say about that?
No, I was just saying the thing that separates them is that touchdown potential, and like you said, the goal line work is Damian Harris.
Yeah. I guess comparing to the consensus, I'm 4 higher in Rashad Penny, which is 16. They have him at 20. I mean, he's good. He's good at football and he's healthy. Simple as that. Damian Harris is 11 spots higher for me. Consensus has him at 35. Tony Pollard I have at 29, which is 4 higher. I'm not sure why people are ranking Tony Pollard low when all he's done is perform well. Rex Burkhead I have at 36. I think he's a sneaky flex guy this week. I have him 8 spots higher than the consensus. Trevor, I know you wrote about him, but do you have anything to say other than he's getting the workload?
No.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there. Like, what do you say about him?
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's all it is. Like he's getting the workload, and they're actively choosing not to give it to David Johnson. Not saying Johnson's great, but I'm saying Rex Burkhead is not great. So I'm not sure what they're doing. Tevin Coleman's another flex guy this week. I have him 10 spots higher than the consensus. Lower. I'm 6 lower on Cordell Patterson. So the consensus is ranking him number 7 overall. That just feels a little high for me. I'm 6 lower on Javonte Williams at 17. 4 lower on Sony Michel at 26. Oh, here's one. Consensus has Duke Johnson at 36, and I have him at 43. I understand he just ran for 100 yards. I just know the Miami Dolphins, and he's not going to get the majority of the touches this week. Like, that's just the way it works there. And they play New Orleans. So it's going to be tough to run the ball. And if they have to pass it, I would assume Myles Gaskin get those targets. But I don't like Myles Gaskin either. I'm just full hands off this backfield. Do you guys agree?
Totally agree.
Does Brian Flores know how to utilize running backs? Like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, Miami has no good receivers, right? Will Fuller's out for the year. Like, they have some, but you get the point. Wouldn't it make most sense to have Johnson in the backfield and Gaskin, like, maybe in a 2-back shotgun formation, let Gaskin leak out and have the run? Like, does that make too much sense? Because I swear every week Brian Flores rolls a dice, and then that's what he does for the week with his running backs.
Yeah, I just feel like them switching running backs is their idea of getting creative on offense. And, I mean, what am I to say? Duke Johnson ran for 100 yards, I guess. But the Dolphins also haven't played anybody worthwhile in like 2 months. So, I don't know.
Yeah, gun to my head, I have to pick someone I think I'm taking. Is Salvon Ahmad's still there, right? Right?
Yeah.
I think he's a big play guy, just based on a big play alone.
Fair enough.
How can the fantasy
Malcolm Brown's
playoffs
there too?
How can the fantasy playoffs get worse? Salvon Ahmed and Malcolm Brown both score a touchdown.
Right.
Philip Lindsay could be active this week. Maybe it's the Philip Lindsay week. I don't know what's going to happen there. I think Todd Gurley's probably the next number they call up if they make the playoffs. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Do the Texans basically have an agreement with the Dolphins? Like, we can't trade you Deshaun, so we'll just sign running backs, release them, and then you guys can just have them for free?
Like, the Texans are sending them pictures on Snapchat of Deshaun talking to Philip Lindsay, talking to Larry Tunsil. Like, we got to get everybody he's connected to, and then we can get him here. That's all we got to do.
Imagine having 5 running backs in your roster.
5 running backs and none of them are good. Imagine that. Yeah, I don't know. The only other running back I want to talk about is Chuba Hubbard. So for the Panthers, I have him at 48, which is 10 spots lower. Panthers, like I said, play the Buccaneers. Chuba Hubbard is now in a running back tandem with Amir Abdullah, who is still in the NFL. I thought that should be known. Chuba Hubbard is running the ball. Amir Abdullah is catching the ball. The Buccaneers are good at stopping the run, so I would assume they're good at stopping Chuba Hubbard, and I think Amir Abdullah is more valuable, but that doesn't mean much. Like, I think he's a flex play. If he scores a touchdown, then he'll be worthwhile. but he'll probably be like a 5-catch, 40-yard guy this week, in my opinion.
Yeah, basically, like, let's just assume, because Chuba Hubbard averages 9 carries the last 2 games. Let's just assume he gets 5 yards a carry, which isn't going to happen. Unless he scores a touchdown, he's scoring 4.5 points. And that's probably not going to happen either. So it seems like he's got a very, very low floor and a very limited ceiling, which is just a lose-lose.
Yeah. And to your point, if they get down in the red zone somehow, it's Cam Newton's time.
Yep.
Like, that's the only thing he can do well. He's going to call his own number. So, yeah. Any other running back you want to talk about? Okay. Wide receivers, number 1 is going to be Cooper Kupp at the Vikings. Vikings give up the most receiving yards to wide receivers. Cooper Kupp has been okay this season at doing that. So he's number 1. Devontae Adams 2. On Christmas versus the Browns, I believe it's a day after his birthday. Tyreek Hill 3 versus the Steelers. Justin Jefferson 4 versus the Rams. And then Deebo Samuel, Cordell Patterson wannabe at number 5 at the Titans tomorrow night. Trevor, what do you think of those wide receivers?
Kupp has to be the one the rest of the season. Like, the only way he is not wide receiver, top 3 wide receiver, is if Sean McVay is dumb enough to not get him the ball, which unfortunately happens. But, I mean, dude is so clear everybody else. I think I saw a stat, like, he's 81 points between, like, him and second, and the difference between second and 20th is, like, another 81 points, which is ridiculous. He's been in a league of his own. He's the best wide receiver production-wise this year, so it's hard to argue him at number 1.
Yeah, I agree with 100% of what you said. Just talking Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, all he does is moves the chains and scores touchdown on national TV. So you're going to get a touchdown on Devontae, maybe 2. Tyreek Hill, he was put on COVID list earlier this week. You guys know that my fantasy teams aren't loving that. But if he does play, he's a must-start top. Yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson's they're all studs. Deebo Samuel's going to get rushing work again. It's hard to dispute where any of these guys go.
They're all good.
It's a given that Devontae catches the record-breaking touchdown, right? Like, we're just all accepting that that's happening.
Well, let's not talk about it too much because maybe I wanted to use it as a guarantee this week that he would do that. But yeah,
that's
I think
funny because I was going to guarantee that. So
let's all do it as a show. That'll be our guarantee because it has to happen.
I'll get it wrong somehow.
True.
Like, MVS's dumbass is finally going to catch one off the top, and he's not going to be aware and walk in.
And it's going to be someone stupid like DeGuara.
Oh, Tyler Davis.
Right.
I would be so angry.
Right.
That would actually be hilarious, though. That would be really funny.
No, I would be really upset. Yeah, I guess I don't have anything to say about these guys. I'm slightly nervous about Justin Jefferson, I guess, because of Jalen Ramsey. Justin Jefferson's a stud, though.
Yep.
But I don't know. Like, if you have him, you're starting him, so it's kind of irrelevant, I guess. Antonio Brown, I have him as a top 10 guy. I have him at number 9. I would assume he gets the Stephon Gilmore coverage, which scares me a little bit because I do think Gilmore's a stud. But like, there's nobody else there. Like, everyone got wiped out in a week. It was pretty insane to watch. So Antonio Brown's going to be the guy now and the rest of the season. A lot of people dropped him, including myself. Yeah, if you can pick him up, go ahead and do that. Like we told Mr. Grapefruit in the chat earlier.
Yeah, the thing is, Antonio Brown's still a pretty good receiver, too. It's not like he's injured and can't run or anything. Like, the dude can still play football.
Yeah,
yes, he can.
If you had to be mentally sane to be a football player, the NFL wouldn't exist. So that has nothing to do with production.
Very true. And Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell are back together at last. Isn't that what we all wanted? Isn't that like storybook ending? Thank you. Let's get a ring together.
I need to see them do Ring Around the Rosies at midfield to celebrate a touchdown. Not even by them, by like Gronk.
They should whip out a terrible towel, just whip it around, then stomp on it.
They got to get Roethlisberger down there backing up Brady next year.
Oh, I would love to see that. That'd be incredible. Okay. If Big Ben goes anywhere to back anybody up, I would love to see that.
Right.
That just seems weird to see. I have Stephon Diggs at 13. I guess I should look to see how much lower. Oh, not super lower than other people, so that's kind of surprising. Like I said, I think J.C. Jackson's good enough to take him away, and at that point, I think there's a legitimate chance somebody picks up Antonio Brown. They have, Tyler Lockett. I have him above him. Like, there's a chance you may not start Stephon Diggs this week. Probably an 8-team league, but I think there's a chance. I don't think he's a lock and load start, I guess is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree. Like we said before about when we talked about Josh Allen, New England's probably going to slow this game down, right? And that only affects the passing game for Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Christian Kirk, I think he caught a touchdown last week. I really like him. I think he's going to be the number one there without DeAndre Hopkins. He's a top 20 guy for me. Mike Williams has said he's probably going to get involved. I have Amon-Ra St. Brown at 19 versus the Falcons. So, again, that's another guy you possibly could have picked up this week. And I think you can start him, in the fantasy playoffs. I think that's fine. Jamar Chase, I have him at 21. And the consensus is still ranking him as a top 10 guy. And I guess this is just sort of rinse, repeat, same thing. But he's not that good. Like, he's fine. He's a deep threat. They're not using him creatively at all. They're game planning and scheming him up terribly. And if he catches a wide open touchdown, then he's fine. But the chance he gets a wide open touchdown is low. And then the chance that he actually catches that ball is also like 50-50. So I don't know how you could rank him top 10. He's been outside the top 25. I guess that's standard ranking. Yeah, still outside the top 25 in 7 of his past 8 games. I don't want to touch him at all. Are you guys with me there?
Yeah, I agree with you. The matchup is nice, though, this week.
Baltimore, I get it.
With the secondary. So if that bad Cincinnati offensive line, it always comes down to offensive line. But if they can give, Joe Burrow 2-3 seconds to throw, I think Jamar Chase may have enough time to grab a couple long plays in this game.
Yeah,
the opportunity will be there.
Right.
Last time they played Baltimore, he gashed him. He catches 201 yards and a touchdown, but that's obviously way out of the norm. And I think, not only is him catching it a problem, but his targets are starting to become a problem. Over the since the bye, 6-3, 8, and 4. When you're not catching them, 8 isn't that great, and 6, 3, and 4 is never good enough to be anywhere near top 10 unless they're literally all touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see what Baltimore does. They're not going to respect Joe Burrow the same way they respected Aaron Rodgers last week, but they played a lot of too high. And if they do that again, then that just means, Jamar Chase is not going to do anything all day. If they bring the heat like they have the rest of the season, then he'll get open. That's what happened last time. I don't know. We'll see what they do. I think they have a good defensive coordinator. They're just so beat up on defense, it's sad to see.
Right.
To be completely honest. DK Metcalf, possibly the worst athlete of all time. You can watch or listen to the Flurry Sports podcast to break that down pretty eloquently, as I do most things. But DK Metcalf, 31. I have him 14 spots lower than the consensus. I think he's droppable. Go ahead. He sucks. He's terrible at football. He is a cancer to the NFL and to the Seattle Seahawks organization. He brought down a dynasty and possibly ended the career of Pete Carroll because he's that bad at football. He's that big of a drama queen. But hey, he'll run go routes all day long. And that's what he'll do again this week against Chicago. Should be the easiest matchup of all time. Chicago's cornerbacks not only are talently bad, but they don't know where they're supposed to be on the field. But he won't do a single thing. I'm pretty sure. Any positive thoughts on DK Metcalf? Because you guys know my thoughts.
He has 48 targets over the last 6 weeks. Unfortunately, he only has 6 catches, 5 catches, and the other 4 games are 4 or less. So he really has nothing, like, at all. I don't think Russell Wilson is that good anymore. I think they're letting him run the offense, and I think it's a joke of an idea. Seattle Seahawks are shell themselves for that too. So not only does he suck, but Russ sucks and the offense sucks. That does not seem like a winning formula against the Bears.
No. Yeah, I don't
Luke,
get it.
you should start him though, please. I'll even you out with Jamar Chase.
Deal.
Jesus. There's somebody who drafted both of them at the start of this year and thought, oh my God, I got possibly the 2 best wide receivers in the NFL. Watch this.
Going
By the way,
into like,
yeah, go ahead.
Going into week 4, I was like, holy shit, I got Jamar Chase with the 2nd overall pick. Suck it. Now it's like, anybody want him for a second?
Fair enough. Jamar Chase, last week, I think was the last time I checked, I believe he was the leading wide receiver vote getter for the Pro Bowl in the AFC. Just, if people are feeling bad about COVID, feel bad about that. I think that's a bigger travesty.
This is why fan votes shouldn't be a thing.
No, fans are stupid. Like that's why like fan-owned team, the Green Bay Packers. Why? I've seen so many stupid people at Packer games. Like they're dumb. No offense, Luke.
Was one of them Luke when he was drunk? He's like, "Hey, where's DK Metcalf?" Luke, yeah, he's been ejected.
They said he came back onto the field, guys. I was so confused.
He did. He did come back out of the field. You were not wrong.
And they didn't announce anything?
Really? I think we need to slam the Packers PA announcer. Absolute joke of a performance against Seattle. What the hell was that?
It was. Not great.
Not good. Maybe they need to do tryouts. We can rally enough people to do a tryout, I think.
Get enough signatures.
Maybe you two can tag team it or something. It'll be good. Other wide receivers, I'm higher on Josh Reynolds for the Lions. I'm 6 higher on Donovan Peoples-Jones for the Browns at 44. He's the best wide receiver they have. And if Baker comes back, he has a connection with Baker, so I actually kind of like him. I'm lower on... This is interesting. So Drew Lock's going to start for the Broncos this week. I'm 4 lower on Jerry Judy at 46. Somebody's going to be better because he's a better quarterback than Teddy, obviously.
Yep.
Someone's going to be better. I think it's Noah Fant. I think he has a better connection with him. And you probably shouldn't start any other wide receivers. But I think there's a chance Cortland Sutton has one of those breakout games after he tanked everybody's fantasy team the entire year. Like, I think he might have a connection there. But Jerry Judy, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't start any of them, I guess. Any thoughts on them?
I'm in the same boat as you. I mean, it's just too unpredictable for fantasy playoffs if you have to pick one. But I think last year, this is Jerry Judy's second year, right?
Yep.
Last year when Drew Lock was playing, that was working a little bit, that connection. They haven't, played it all together this year. I almost wonder if they try to revamp that a little bit. But I'm in the same boat as you, Zach. It's just so unpredictable that you don't even want to touch it with a 10-foot pole.
No. Any other wide receiver you guys want to talk about?
I got a question. Is Robbie Anderson back?
Sure. He should be. Like, he's better. I don't know. I don't think he's worse than DJ Moore. I think he's a good player. Yeah. Obviously, I would hope no one's starting him this week. I hope he's back, though. Why not? Better late than never.
Right.
Tight ends. Number 1, George Kittle tomorrow night against the Titans. I have Mark Andrews, number 2, at the Bengals. I might move him lower if Lamar Jackson starts. Then I have Travis Kelce 3 versus the Steelers. Rob Gronkowski 4 at the Panthers. I saw Bengals and I couldn't, I had to say Bengals and I powered through it. That was mental toughness. And then number 5, I have Kyle Pitts versus the Lions. Luke, what do you think of those 5 tight ends?
Yeah, just to elaborate on Mark Andrews there. It's obvious there's a connection between Huntley and Andrews. That's who Huntley felt like he only looked to when they needed to pass. So I totally agree. If Lamar Jackson plays, I don't like him as much. You got to imagine Lamar Jackson's going to run around a little bit more and try to do it himself. Gronkowski, I think it'd be tough for him to catch a touchdown. Like we said before, that Carolina defense is good, especially in that red zone. It gets all congested. But other than that, tight ends, whatever. I don't. It's hard to dispute this top 5, I should say.
Yeah, and Andrews, I think the only way he's, I don't think he'll have another week like last week. But, I think he'll still be good. And he'll be elite if Cincinnati also puts a small ass corner on him. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So he's got a good floor though.
Yeah, like he was open when Lamar was there. Like I said before, like Huntley was just taking what the defense gives him. And obviously last 2 weeks, he has back-to-back weeks of double-digit targets, triple yards. He scored in both. Against the Bengals last time, 3 for 48. And I'm pretty sure that he was open a lot more than that. It was just the Lamar Jackson effect. I like Kyle Pitts at 5. I think he's a high yardage guy this week. Maybe he finds the end zone. It is the Lions. Who knows? Dallas Goddard obviously got it going last week. I guess, what's his name? What's their stupid quarterback's name? I can't even. Hurts. He was fine. Like, he was looking pretty good. He at least could throw it to him. And that's all we can talk about for that.
Hold up. No. I'm calling your ass out. Because when we talk quarterbacks, you said Hurts looked good.
He did look good, but who did they play? Washington. Washington's terrible.
No. You said he was all right after saying he looked good. Like, so I'm not letting that slide. Jake,
I need to watch the game.
I see you, Jake. I'm here for you.
Okay, fine. Jalen Hurts, elite. And clearly Goddard just as elite. Dawson Knox I have at 7. Like I said, I think the Patriots have given up like 350-something yards to tight ends the entire year, which is insane. You can't take anything from that last matchup against the Patriots a couple weeks ago. But I don't love it, I guess. I would be willing to start Goddard, Pitts, etc. Those guys above him. Higbee, hopefully, finally comes off the COVID list for realsies this week. And I feel like Sean McVay is like petty enough where he tries to dial up multiple times to get him a touchdown because it was a wrong or a false positive the first time for COVID. And then he actually got it. They're like, psych, you actually do have COVID. So he's a top 10 guy for me this week. Yeah, right. Like it was a sick prank. It was really cool. But I don't know. I feel like McVay is one of those people where he's going to call his number a lot just to sort of make it up to him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I have Fant at 10. Like I said, I think he has a connection with Locke. I guess I can look at the consensus. So I'm 7 higher on Higbee. That's quite a bit. Gerald Everett, I have him at 13. That's 5 higher than the consensus. I think he has one of the only stable roles on the Seahawks offense right now. And, we know what DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are going to do. They're going to run straight, and then Everett's going to cross underneath. And if Wilson isn't too stubborn to just check it down, Everett's going to have a great game. So I actually kind of like him. Brevin Jordan's another sneaky-ish kind of guy, rookie tight end. He's good. Like, we knew he was good coming out of college. He's just getting a chance now that the Texans are truly just sort of coasting. And he has a connection with Mills. I have him at 21. That's 6 spots higher. So I think he's decent. Kyle Rudolph, I have at 24, which is 9 higher. Plays the Eagles. The Eagles are terrible against tight ends. And Kyle Rudolph has a consistent role as a blocker. He'll catch a couple. I don't really want to talk about any of these guys, but I'm 5 lower on Dalton Schultz, 5 lower on CJ Usama, 6 lower on Njoku. Yeah. Like, people just overvalue them. Thoughts on any tight end, guys?
Not really.
Yeah.
James O'Shaughnessy. Is he I see he's at 18. I'm just going to be flat out. It's between him and Brevin Jordan against Luke. So depending on who you win, you want to win, tailor your advice, I guess.
And they go head to head. Like, obviously, not that they share the field at the same time, but they will really be, they'll be looking across the field at each other, trying to one-up each other. So it's going to be a pretty tough game.
I think you should start one at tight end and one at flex.
Well, I also have CJ Usama because
start them all.
Tunion's bum ass is hurt. Usama is projected the most points, Zach. So I think simply because of that, you have to change everything that you have done. So
it could be one of those 100-yard, 2-touchdown games for Usama, or it could be one of those 5-target, 0-catch games. So he's known for both. We will see what happens, I guess. I think I don't know. I think O'Shaughnessy's probably the safest if you just need steady points. I think Brevin Jordan has more upside. Oh, never mind. I thought Houston played. My bad. Houston plays Chargers. That changes everything.
So Brevin Jordan under O'Shaughnessy? Because the difference in projected points is like 0.2.
I would prefer O'Shaughnessy just because, I mean, they should be able to move the ball. And if they get to the red zone and they don't give it to James Robinson, he's probably the likely target there just because, Trevor Lawrence can't hit anybody. So at least James O'Shaughnessy's big ass is a big target for him. Who do we trust more? Davis Mills or Trevor Lawrence?
Davis Mills, right? Like it's got Davis Mills has actually been okay, like a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe I'll flip him. I don't know. I think O'Shaughnessy's safer, higher floor. Brevin Jordan, higher ceiling.
And also his last name is Jordan, so
it is. You're not wrong.
That he could be. Some are saying he might be the best Jordan in the NFL on offense.
Maybe he could be the next coming of Cameron Jordan. Remember that tight end for a hot second? He had a moment.
No, Jordan, he had like Cameron. Cameron Jordan's the defensive end for the Saints, right? They had a whole thing in
Gordon Cameron's a tight end
in the league about that to show the league.
God.
Yeah, he was the guy for the Browns.
Right.
Come on, Zach. Right. Don't be a Ruxin.
Fair enough. He's still a Jordan. I would assume you guys have no other tight ends to talk about. Right.
Dan Arnold, we miss you.
We do. At least I had fun ranking them.
Shut your damn mouth, Luke.
I started one week. Zach. He had 0 catches from 0 yards.
That was Urban Meyer's slush fest, man. He's gone.
No, that's why he got fired.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, they said it was for kicking the kicker. No, it wasn't.
Urban Meyer didn't get a chance.
Oh, he got a couple chances.
True. He did. So are we going to do like a team guarantee here, or what are we doing?
I say we do the blanket one so that Luke can get a legitimate win, and then we all also do individual ones. Actually, Luke, you do have a legitimate one. You said OBJ would catch it when he wasn't on a team, so that counts. Honestly, that should probably count as double.
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah, I would have had Chris Godwin too last week, but he got hurt.
Yeah. You said 10 plus receptions, and that ended.
I think he went out in the beginning of the third with like 6 catches or something.
Yep. That was a bummer.
Let's not talk about that game, please.
Okay.
I have my guarantee if you guys want me to start.
Go for it.
Give me Nick Chubb 2 or more touchdowns.
Okay. Oh, man. There's a lot of bad football this week, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I can go. I got Jimmy G as a top 10 quarterback. I think this will be another tumultuous week. I don't think top 10 is going to be that hard to get. And I think in a week of a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad football, like you said, Zach, he gives a safe floor. He'll probably be quarterback 9 or 10, barely, something like that.
I'm going to go all in on the stupid take. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts, 300 total yards. He did it last week. He didn't do it again since week 4. So he's going to do it this week against the Giants. I could feel it.
But hold up, I'm confused because you said in the tight end section that he's just okay.
I don't recall. I think I was thinking of a different. I was thinking of Cameron Jordan thing. My mind
You're
was
thinking
in
of Jalen
pretzel.
Suggs. Think of Jalen Suggs. instead of Jalen
Yeah.
He is just a Jalen Suggs sucks. I'll say that. I could make my opinion for
Jalen
that. No,
Suggs banked one shot in and thinks he's hot shit. What a bum.
right. I agree. He's clutch. If you need that shot at the end of the game, he'll make it.
You beat UCLA. They barely even beat Michigan State. That's not a feat.
Jalen Suggs is taking too many minutes away from Cole Anthony for my liking.
I mean, true.
I
He's
can't
better.
build off of that one.
Okay. Was there any questions I ignored?
No.
Not really. Okay. This was the fantasy show. We'll be back next week to help you win a championship. We will be on with Lombardi sweep in like 10-ish minutes, bitching about the Packers, I assume. I'm sure there'll be something worthwhile to listen to there. But we'll be back in like 10 minutes.